This is our lesson on multiplying and dividing rational expressions. This is an example of a rational expression. This one is already kind of started for you because everything is in factored form. We always want to get things down into factored form before we try and simplify a problem like this. Here, what we want to do is we want to look at what do these problems have on the top and on the bottom that are in common, so that we can eliminate those, we can simplify this. So if we start with the first fraction, we have an x plus 4 on top, but we don't have one on the bottom here. We do have an x minus 2 on the top and an x minus 2 on the bottom. So we can get rid of those right away. If we go over to the next fraction, we have an x plus 3 on the top and an x plus 3 on the bottom. We can get rid of those right away. Then we have an x minus 3 on the top, x plus 4 on the bottom. We can't eliminate those. However, since we're multiplying, when you multiply two fractions together, all you're doing is multiplying the things on top times one another and multiplying the things on the bottom times one another. So really, we could just connect this and make one fraction. And now if we look, we have an x plus 4 on top and an x plus 4 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. That leaves us with an x minus 3 on top and an x minus 4 on the bottom. Usually when we do a problem like this, you're going to see it written in this form. 6x squared minus 11x plus 4 over 2x squared plus 13x minus 7 times x squared plus 6x minus 40 over 3x squared minus 16x plus 16. First thing you're going to have to do is factor everything. I'm not going to go through the factoring, we've done that before. If you have questions on that, please go back to the factoring lesson. So we factor the top left, and we get 2x minus 1 and 3x minus 4. Factor the bottom left, we get x plus 7 and 2x minus 1. Go to the second fraction, we factor the top, we get x plus 10 and x minus 4. Factor the bottom, we get 3x minus 4 and x minus 4. Now again we want to simplify. With the last problem we know that since we're multiplying we can just make this one fraction. We have a 2x minus 1 on top and a 2x minus 1 on the bottom. Those can be eliminated. We have a 3x minus 4 on top and a 3x minus 4 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. We have an x plus 10 on top, but we do not have an x plus 10 on the bottom, so that has to stay. We have an x minus 4 on top and an x minus 4 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. So we're left with the x plus 10 on top, and then the only thing that's left on the bottom is the x plus 7. So our final answer is x plus 10 over x plus 7. When you get down to this final step, if you just have one factor left, you actually don't need the parentheses. If you put the parentheses, that's okay too. When we divide rational expressions, it's very similar to multiplying rational expressions, except there's one other step that we need to do. We don't like to divide fractions. It's more difficult than multiplying fractions. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a multiplication problem. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Okay? Reciprocal meaning we flip the fraction. So we're going to change the division to a multiplication. And to do that, we're going to take this second fraction and flip it. So the top goes to the bottom and the bottom goes to the top. So we started with some of this already factored. X plus 5 times 2x minus 1. So that stays on the top of the first problem. And then we need to factor the bottom. On the bottom we had 6x squared plus x minus 2. That factors into 3x plus 2 and 2x minus 1. Then we changed our division sign to multiplication, which meant we had to flip the second fraction. So on the bottom we had 3x plus 2 times x minus 7. That now is on the top. On the top we had 4x squared plus 17x minus 15. We need to factor that and put that now on the bottom. So when we factor that, we get x plus 5 and 4x minus 3 on the bottom. Now it's a multiplication problem just like we've seen before. We can make it one fraction. We have an x plus 5 on top and an x plus 5 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. We have a 2x minus 1 on top and a 2x minus 1 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. We have a 3x plus 2 on top and a 3x plus 2 on the bottom. We can get rid of those. Which leaves us with an x minus 7 on top and a 4x minus 3 on the bottom, and that is our answer.